Yeah, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Frida, your host and founder of this online tinnitus channel. A lot of you guys will know me already. I'm the guy who was born deaf in his left ear and has a hearing aid and a high-pitched tinnitus for over 15 years now. And yeah, in today's video, I want to show you a little bit something that we did quite a while ago by now. It is our Tinnitus Habituation Masterclass workshop. I want to get a little bit into the structure of what we did in the workshop, a little bit about what we do to help people with tinnitus, how you can benefit from all the insights that I have gained in coaching 500 plus people with tinnitus, and the online club that we founded for people with tinnitus as well. So yeah, let's join and hop into the video. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. So I recently gave this 2 hours workshop that is also for sale, so you can purchase it. There will be a link in the description below. So if you're interested, you can purchase the whole workshop, including all materials. You will see here that we have worksheets, etc. for the whole workshop. But what I really want to show you guys today is how we structured the workshop, how usually we work with people with tinnitus. So I have worked with 500 plus individuals over the last few years, helping them habituate to tinnitus, meaning that they do still have tinnitus because it's not some kind of herbal remedy or miracle cure, but we help you to understand that the big problem that you're actually perceiving is there is a sound and there is a physiological experience of a sound, and there are thoughts and emotions that accompany that. And your obstacle is not the sound itself, but the way you conditionally completely respond to your tinnitus with the same behaviors over and over again. So in this workshop, we got a little bit into how you can understand your emotional reaction and your cognitive functions around the tinnitus, how you can recondition the brain's response to tinnitus. So that's also in all the worksheet that I showed you here. So if you do want to buy the recording of this 2 hours masterclass that goes from 0 to hero in tinnitus management, then you can get that on the link below. But we then went into how acceptance and commitment therapy is such a powerful tool to completely change the way your brain is conditioned to respond to your tinnitus, very naturally so, because it tries to protect you and tries to avoid all those negative thoughts and feelings associated and accompanied with your tinnitus. Quite normal. And then we did a really cool 20-minute habituation practice, a very short exercise that is designed to help you in whatever moment you are in to shake off the difficulty with your tinnitus a little bit, and a very cool Q&A where people asked lots of valuable questions and where I think we were able to help quite significantly. What we want to do today in this video is we want to get into the first part a little bit, understanding emotional and cognitive reactions. As I said before, if you want to get full access to the workshop, then you can purchase that, and there's going to be a link in the description below. You will get the full 2 hours of the recording. You will get all these different materials here that I show you. You get a link to the Google Drive as soon as you purchase it, with the whole habituation masterclass, the recording, the video, as well as all the worksheets and slides as you can see them here. But let's get back to the presentation. Many of you guys know that I'm 34 by now. I live in Berlin in Germany, and I've been working as a tinnitus coach since 2019. And the most important thing that when it comes to tinnitus is, of course, that we get our facts straight, right? It's very important that all of you guys know that about 15 to 20% of the average adult population experiences tinnitus. Now, in some areas or in some populations that's more, and in some populations that's less, but roughly about 15 to 20%. So the prevalence of tinnitus really is quite high. So you're absolutely not isolated, and it's very, very normal. A lot of people deal with tinnitus. Of course, it's a little bit more common in older adults than in younger people, simply because there is more hearing loss as we grow older, or if we don't protect our hearing properly, or in my case, if you're being born deaf on one ear, then that can occur pretty much at any stage. But it's really, really important that on the face of it, this is an absolutely normal thing that happens to 15 to 20% of the population. And in any given moment, there are more people who are habituated and who do not experience bothersome tinnitus, so that they go and live their life in a normal way, even though they might experience tinnitus, meaning the physiological experience of a sound that doesn't have really an outside source. Let's go into it. So there's certain factors, right, like hearing loss, ear infections, medications, or other causes that can cause a person starting to deal with tinnitus. Is very normal as well. We can pretty much easily skip that. But of course, what's not so easily to skip is all the impacts that tinnitus causes in you often, meaning a lot of people still deal with insomnia, concentration issues, emotional distress. Of course, we also here inside our online tinnitus club have a section designed exclusively for sleep. So if you are looking for a place to really get better with your tinnitus, then this might be a cool place for you to come to join us at www.mytinnitus.club, because you will get access to all of these exclusive resources, exclusive coaching sessions, exclusive ability to participate in a weekly event, taking online courses, and using all these tools and strategies that I have built over the years. But back to the presentation. Then, of course, it's very common that people react with anxiety, frustration, sometimes even feelings of depression, and often the thought patterns are, of course, catastrophizing and very negative. So, for example, people are like, this will never get better, which in and of itself is a thought, and you can determine yourself whether that thought is helping your process of changing your brain's conditioning towards the sound that you perceive, or whether that's going to make it more difficult to see tinnitus as something that's a benign body sensation and that doesn't need your continued struggle. Of course, then there's a very vicious cycle, and it's very difficult where people get into a sort of a conditioned response where the tinnitus sort of evolves itself around the same topic over and over again. So tinnitus distress produces certain thoughts about the tinnitus, produces certain feelings about the tinnitus, and therefore respond towards our tinnitus in a certain way, and we think that will never get better. I always have the saying, every single person that I work with has the worst tinnitus. So all of you guys commenting under these YouTube videos, oh, but my tinnitus is much worse than that person that you interviewed there. I can assure you, very likely that person is very sure themselves that they have the worst kind of tinnitus. And I'm not saying it to belittle it. And you guys know that I'm deaf on this ear, and this ear has a proper hearing loss with a hearing aid. So my tinnitus is quite severe under that. So I do know what a severe tinnitus is like. And I do believe that you have to ask yourself, is this helpful, or is this standing in my way of responding more positively, or in a better way, more effectively, not positively, because we don't there's a nice little thought exercise later in the masterclass as well, where I can tell you a little bit about if you try to eliminate thoughts from your mind, that's completely impossible, and neuroplasticity and new ways to respond more effectively to your tinnitus don't come from deleting old patterns, but they come with establishing new patterns of responding. And here is something that I want to finish the workshop, or the short presentation today with, an introduction to reconditioning. Of course, what we want to do in the absence of some miracle cure that completely rids you of your tinnitus, we want to completely recondition your brain's response to tinnitus. Meaning that we can, of course, completely change the way you respond to your tinnitus, and that creates new neuroplastic changes in your brain. Meaning that, you remember, I always give the example that when you get bitten by a dog, then of course your brain has the feeling, okay, now it might be safe to avoid dogs at all costs in future. But that might be very detrimental, or even hard to do. To avoid dogs at all costs might involve staying home all the time, not being able to go outside anymore and to pursue your life, maybe not doing sports anymore, etc. So that's not a really nice or wise choice. In the same way, for tinnitus, when we have the belief system that now we can't work anymore, we can't see friends or enjoy life anymore, then of course we create a body of evidence by avoidance-based techniques that show us that yes, really life is like this with tinnitus now. And reconditioning is, of course, the first part of reconditioning is understanding what thoughts, feelings we most often have about our tinnitus, how those thoughts, feelings, and emotions hold us back in this vicious cycle, whether they not let us sleep properly, whether it makes it difficult for us to enjoy time with friends and family, or anything similar. We need to identify them first before we can start reconditioning our response to our tinnitus. And that is something that we have tried to achieve for you guys, or try to start showing you a little bit of a path inside this workshop. I hope that it has been useful for you, that I've been showing you a little bit of this presentation today already, showing you a little bit of what we did in the workshops and what we usually do in the workshops, what we also usually do inside the online Tinnitus Club, how we help you guys deal with tinnitus a lot more effectively. For example, here in the section on tinnitus and sleep, my all-time favorite interview with Dr. Guy Meadows, 1 hour and 15 minutes, that you'll be able to watch when you join the club at www.mytinnitus.club. Of course, we have a lot of stuff inside the premium area. For example, another 2 days event where we did a 2 days tinnitus retreat, telling you completely to go from bothersome tinnitus and how you get bothered by your tinnitus to, in the second day, building a new way of responding using acceptance and commitment therapy to completely change the way you experience your tinnitus. So that will all be available at www.mytinnitus.club, and I'll be throwing a link in the description below so you can, if you are interested, get the recording of our habituation masterclass, including all of these fantastic resources for you. And yeah, then that's it for this week on the YouTube channel here. I hope that this has been useful for you. I will most likely keep my own pace. I will see how many videos I'll publish each single week. I can promise you that there'll be a new podcast coming out. I recorded one very nice podcast episode today. But yeah, I hope that this has been useful, and hope to see you very soon, and wish you all the best. Goodbye.